No, you. No, you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. All right. Welcome, everyone, and I'm so glad that you could be here tonight as we celebrate Shabbat together, but also as we celebrate with our confirmands. Now, you may know that these past few years of our confirmation service, of our confirmation kids, they have been a little bit different. Because, of course, for the past 2 years, we could not have a traditional confirmation experience. And even this year, as you can see, things are just a little bit more hectic than we had planned for. But still, we've all learned these past few years that sometimes our teenagers, they have to learn how to roll with punches. And what we've taught them this year is to be able to use their Jewish wisdom and everything that they have learned here and from all of you to be able to find ways to be the people who we have all hoped and dreamt that they could be. On page 3, it says, as rabbis, we have the privilege of studying with young men and women as they work towards their confirmation. Every year we are inspired and awed, amused and engaged, learning from each student in each class something more about what the future holds for the Jewish people. Some of the students you'll see before you tonight have been a part of this congregation from their births, and their families have been part of the fabric of Temple Israel for generations. Others have only been part of our community for a few years, and theirs will be the first confirmation photo to hang on our famed wall. Yet each of them is truly a leader in this community. These are the young people who will shape the next generation of American Jews, and tonight we'll hear about the journeys that brought them to this place. In Hebrew, the word for messenger is the same word for angels. We welcome these students, our messengers and our angels, as we welcome the Shabbat angels alongside them. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mi melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mi melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Boachem leshalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi elyon. Mi melech, Malachi hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So tonight we are honoring not just our confirmation class of 2022, but also some of our confirmands in the past 2 years who were not able to have a service on this bima. Now, both the class of 2020 and 21 had different sorts of learning opportunities and opportunities to share some of their words with us, but because we were not able to be in person, they were not able to really be on this bima. So I'm going to invite the members of those 2 classes who we have here tonight to please come to the bima and join us. That's you guys.
As the Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness remains us of the generations who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
All right, Ben, get in.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Soon we celebrate the holiday of Shavuot. Each year at this time, we recall the moment in which Moses ascended to Mount Sinai to receive the Torah. Amidst the sounds of thunder and the call of the shofar, surrounded by light and smoke, Moses brought the 10 Commandments down Mount Sinai to the people of Israel. Today, as their descendants, remembering the giving of the Torah by God and its acceptance by our ancestors. Yes.
We don't know exactly what the Israelites heard at Sinai. A midrash teaches us that the Israelites heard what was in each one's power to hear. This text gives special significance to our service tonight. After years of study, we have each determined for ourselves what Judaism means in our lives, or in the words of the midrash, what was in our power to hear.
At Sinai, the Israelites accepted the challenge to become God's chosen people, a people chosen not for greatness or special favor, but rather a people chosen to be God's partners in the fixing of the world.
Tonight, we recognize our responsibility as a new generation of Jews to hear and comprehend the words of Torah. We renew our promise to become a nation striving for justice and peace. We commit to pursuing the path of Tikkun Olam and to make this world a better place.
Our parents, teachers, rabbis, and congregation cannot accept the covalent for us. They cannot be Jewish for us. We have to engage in this struggle on our own. Each of you here tonight has helped us bring us to the base of Mount Sinai. Now we begin our ascent.
Please rise for the call to worship.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. The rabbis gave each of us the opportunity to choose a quote that spoke to us from Pirkei Avot, the sayings of the ancestors. I chose a quote from Pirkei Avot that says, "Who is wise? One who learns from every person. Who is strong? One who subdues the evil impulse. Who is rich? One who is content with their lot. Who is honored? One who honors their fellows." This specific quote struck me as interesting for a few reasons. First, the quote indicates that wisdom has nothing to do with age or experience. Strength is not a result of physical strength. Being rich has no correlation with actual wealth, and honor isn't attributed to fame. That's the part I like most about the quote. It never alludes to any of the qualities I just mentioned, since they are beyond our control. Concepts such as kindness, love, and the willingness to help others, all of which are within our control, have the most influence on true wisdom, strength, wealth, and honor. This relates to me when I think of the many sports that I've played in my life. What I've learned is someone is always going to surpass you with talent. But if you concentrate on qualities that you're able to control, such as working hard, doing your best, and putting others before yourself, then you will achieve great things in life. The quote reinforces the idea that you don't need to worry about money or fame, as much as you do about just being a kind person. The only things you need in order to experience true happiness and success are the things that you have control over.
The quote I picked is, "Do not judge your fellow until you have stood in his place, because it has two different sides, each equally important." The first side is talking about blame and resentment. To me, it means do not make assumptions about others until you know all that they are going through. When I was younger, I was very quick to judge others without knowing anything about them, and as I've gotten older, it's been more and more important to me to make sure that I see everyone complexly. It is impossible to know why people do what they do, but when we give someone the benefit of the doubt and the ability to explain themselves, we are acting in the way that we should and being mentions. However, there is also another equally important reading to this quote. The other reading is about jealousy. I often struggle with jealousy and feeling left out myself, and when I do, I try to remind myself that I don't have the full picture of what's going on, and I am likely only hearing the good things. This quote reminds me that while it can be easy to succumb to jealousy, it is important not to, because you don't know the hard parts that someone may be going through. When I was younger, I would often wish that I was older, so the stress that I was feeling at the time would go away. Even then, I knew that there would still be stress and anxiety I would feel in the future, but I naively believed that my responsibilities would be so few that I wouldn't feel any. I wish I could go back and tell past Jessica that as she gets older to focus on the now and stop wishing to move forward. I might always be envious of others, and I might always be slightly judgy, but this quote reminds me of what I remind myself when I do feel this way. We know ourselves the best. Instead of focusing on what others are doing and thinking, we should think about how to be the best person we can be and live in the moment instead of worrying about what might happen.
Do not judge your fellow until you have stood in his or her place. This quote is very powerful, and it should always be remembered. It reminds me of a song I love by Elvis Presley, which is called "Walk a Mile in My Shoes." The message of this song is that you should never judge someone before you get to know them, because you have no idea what that person has gone through. I find it interesting to think that a famous person like Elvis Presley would feel this way too. I wonder if he felt others misunderstood him. This quote equates to me because there have been times when I felt that others have judged me without getting a chance to know the real me. The risk of jumping to incorrect conclusions is that you may end up missing out on being friends with a really good person. And in truth, I may have been guilty of doing this myself, which, as I think about it now, makes me feel kind of bad. It's really easy to fall into this trap. More people should be more open-armed or open-hearted. It would make the world a kinder place if we could remember this simple quote.
This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is an hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
We read responsively. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth. In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on the foundation of truth. Please rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
And thou shalt love Adonai thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be upon thy heart, shall be upon thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and when thou risest up. Thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
If I am not for myself, who will be for me? And if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? This is one of my dad's favorite quotes. I guess it runs in the family because this quote also resonates with me. What first comes to mind when reading this quote are my sports. I'm a soccer athlete for Ladue High School. I work hard during the season to improve my individual skills. There were some games where I was awarded player of the game, but we still lost. I had a fantastic game, but it wasn't complete. Not because my super competitive grandma wasn't there yelling at the refs, but because we are a team, and we win and lose together. This is the same for life. I need to advocate for myself so I can be the successful and the best Owen I can be. However, it's just as important to not only be a good individual, but an individual who helps and supports loved ones. This also reminds me of my Jewish journey. I hate to sound selfish, but my bar mitzvah was mostly about me and me becoming a Jewish man, not to mention having a crazy rager party with my friends. Now I am part of a confirmation class, where it's not just me, but my classmates and I are affirming our commitment to the tribe. Being the best you can be is important. However, being the best for others is just as important. I'm not trying to hype everyone up, but if not now, when? Let's go.
This year, I had this realization that Reform Judaism is a really practical way of going through life and knowing how to live your life as a good person. Because of that, there are a lot of things we've studied that I could talk about. But the one that stood out to me the most was, do not judge your fellow until you have stood in his place. As I've grown up, I think that this is a skill I have developed with the help of Judaism and specifically my confirmation class. As a young person, it's very easy to judge others without knowing much about them. I've learned while growing up that we cannot really understand what others are going through, so we have to accept the fact that everyone has stuff going on in their life and we can't be too quick to judge. It's so nice that I was raised with a religion that is so accepting and open, and I feel that I have benefited as a person from this experience. No one is perfect, but I know if I continue to practice what I have learned and continue to live my life as a Reformed Jew, I know that I will continue to better myself as a person. Not judging others is just one example of very many that Judaism has taught me.
Say little, do much. This text can be used in all aspects of life, everyday events, school, and things you wouldn't expect. This text speaks to me because of its importance and the way it occurs in my life. I can remember times where people say, let your action do your talking, and no, not beating someone up. That's when you would use your words. Letting your actions speak for your things, for me, it occurs most in sports. In baseball, if you're losing and the other team is talking trash, let your actions and performance show them what you can do and who you are and put on that comeback. In football, when I broke my shoulder this past year, I couldn't prove to anyone how good my skills were because of my talent, so I had to try and tell them. But with no film or anything to back it up, it was hard to prove that. My goal for this upcoming year is to show them who I am as a player, not by my words, but by my actions.
On page 10, we join in the singing of Nechamocha.
Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai lai yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai lai yai lai la lai lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai la lai la lai Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Kamocha neta bakodesh, lo ratehi lo sepele, lo ratehi lo sepele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, pokei hayam nipnei Moshe. Ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru. Adonai imlo leolam va'ed Adonai imlo leolam va'ed Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai lai Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai lai Yai lai la lai lai yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 lai
Who is wise? One who learns from every person. Who is strong? One who subdues the evil and bulls. Who is rich? One who is content with their lot. Who is dishonored? One who honors their fellows. This quote is nothing but the truth. To be wise, you don't have to be the most intelligent person in the room. You just have to be willing to learn from others and make wise decisions. To be strong, you don't have to work out 24/7, but you just have to be good. And when there's evil, fight it. To be rich, you don't have to make millions upon millions of dollars. You just need to be happy with your life and where it's taking you. And finally, to be honored, you don't need to do the bravest act someone has ever seen, but you just need to honor the people around you. This quote actually relates a lot to my life too. Although I'm not a millionaire and I don't have a bunch of cash just laying around, I still consider myself to be rich. I'm content with the life I have, and that was so kindly given to me. And I often take this life more granted than I should. I'm still working on this though. I also like to think of myself as strong. Although I'm not physically very strong, I don't give in to negative forces and where it's taking me today, or negative forces that happen to me every day. I'm pretty sure none of my peers around me do either, thus making them strong as well. I can go on, but I think you get the gist of it.
On three things the world continues to exist: on justice, truth, and peace. This text from Pirkei Avot is very significant to me because it aligns with the three most prominent morals I stand by in everyday life. Religion provides a moral guideline for all its followers, and it's very meaningful to me that my expressivity of character matches those seen in Judaism. The depiction of these three words highlights the values I live in day-to-day life and have all stemmed in some way through my journey in regards to Judaism. At Temple Israel, these pillars of character are demonstrated through the teachings of Torah and the community efforts such as volunteer events and impactful mentorship the staff provide, which ultimately unites us all everlastingly. However, there's a vast amount of societal differences between the surrounding community of TI and the suburbs of St. Charles where I reside. Being in such a homogeneous community, much of the time I'm put into settings where there's an abundance of ignorance and truth is often distorted. My experience as a Jew in a prejudiced society gave me the opportunity to not just recognize injustice, but advocate for justice through words and actions. I further continue to strive for societal fairness through acts of righteousness such as support of nationwide social justice campaigns and spreading awareness about important topics so society on a broader scale can sustain equilibrium. The idea of peace is the most astounding part of religion because we're all trying to achieve internal and external tranquility through our spirituality. Obtaining peace is a wide spectrum of different things, but it all leads back to the two other fundamental words of truth and justice. Overall, these interconnected values lay the foundation for my vision for myself as well as society through its provisions of righteous acts leading to a peaceful world.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Please rise.
Adonai sefatita ufia giteilateha. Adonai, open up my lips and my mouth and declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Mekonei Hakol, Zoher Hasdei Avot Imavot, Mevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Bezrat Sarah.
Our fathers and mothers prayed, each through their own experience of God, each through their own visions, which we have come to share. Abraham, with the fervor of justice, pleaded the cause of the cities. Sarah, in the pain of waiting, dared to hope for new life. Isaac, meditating alone in the field, lifted his eyes to find love.
Rebecca asked for the ability to discern God's call. Jacob climbed through the rungs of his night into heaven, seeking destiny. Leah dreamed of love, and Rachel sought harmony. Through their prayers came the understanding. Children answer prayers with the deeds of their lives, and this comes to us as a command. Act so that your life will be a blessing.
Please be seated.
My quote is judge every person favorably. This quote speaks to me because of just how timeless the idea of encountering strangers is. We see strangers every day, centuries after this quote was written. And still, the most important thing is to give strangers the benefit of the doubt. As high schoolers, we walk past strangers every day. I'm sure a lot of them seem weird or annoying. They very well could be. But before we can make an assumption about anything bad, we should look for the good in someone first. I know that this idea has given me lasting friendships that I would have likely not had without an open mind. It's human nature to judge, but it's a choice to look for the good and keep an open mind versus closing strangers off. Universally, we can look for the good in things outside of just strangers. New opportunities, jobs, classes, or environments can't ever be of benefit if our minds are closed off and we choose to not look for the good.
It is not up to you to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. As a lifelong procrastinator, the not up to you to complete the work part really resonates with me. Ever since elementary school, I always got sidetracked by other things. It's crazy to the point where an hour-long assignment takes me 3 hours, hey, even more. Hey, I know that it's not the true meaning of the original text, but the first interpretation is a great segue to the actual interpretation. The world has a lot of problems. We can all admit that. Global warming, division across the political spectrum, pollution. We all want to be that one person up there, to be the one noted for saving the planet, comparable to people like Steve Irwin and Elon Musk in terms of notability. Being honest, I just looked up the most famous environmentally aware people. But in reality, even if we aren't going to be recognized as world saviors, it's our duty to make our own impact, however small it may be. Moving a bottle from the trash to the recycling, protesting a law you think might need to be changed. We aren't required by society to complete anything or fix the world, but we can all change it one part at a time.
We join now in a prayer for peace with the words of Shalom Rav on page 13.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adom, Lechol HaShalom. Ki ata hu melech adom, Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
We read responsively the bottom of page 13. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us.
Love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy.
May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service.
May those who serve us be blessed with satisfaction.
And may we appreciate their time and commitment.
Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
I chose, let your friends be dear to you, as you are as your own. Do not be easily provoked to anger. This topic really spoke to me as I scanned down the paper, looking for one that fit me perfectly. The second I saw it, it seemed to click in my head, and these topics have a lot of deep thought that can be put into them, and I explained this in the speech. Now, this is a big thought, but what does it mean? It basically means that if you are nicer to your friends than they are nice to you, and not to get angry. This is interesting because it sounds like a good moral code to live by, and it's reasonable as well. In the big scheme of things, it's quite simple to do. If you treat others with respect, they will treat you well as well. Now let's talk real life. It is not easy to go at it alone. I know that even with my limited life experience, that friends are important for you to develop certain life skills and characteristics. While continuously rereading this topic, I realized that this is a philosophy that I can incorporate into my life. And so can you, just by being yourself and being kind to others and to holding your temper. Do not lash out at your friends or fail at relying on them to help you, because they have the key to solving your problem, maybe. Since reading this, I have looked at myself and started the difficult process of bettering myself. So in other words, try to work hard and to become the best you that everyone sees in you. So if anything this speech stood out to you, please ponder it and see if there's something else to better yourself.
Find yourself a teacher, get yourself a friend, and judge all people favorably. Whenever I reflect on Judaism and why it's so important to me, I always think about the kind of person it has taught me to be. Being Jewish has taught me to be a kind, compassionate, and fair person, characteristics that are sure to help me thrive in society. Whether it's a lesson straight from the Torah or discussion during Sunday school, learning how to be a good person and how to judge everyone fairly always comes up. Throughout my 11 years of Sunday school, I have not only grasped how to be a respectable person, but I have acquired the skills to learn from others and soak in what they are teaching. Learning from others, even if it's their mistakes, is one of the most important skills needed in life, and Judaism has probably taught me about this the most. Having teachers to assist and mentor you, and having a friend who is there to support you through thick and thin is also essential. Not only at Temple Israel, but in Jewish communities everywhere, this is heavily emphasized, and for good reasons. To me, having this balance of teachers, friends, and your own great characteristics is the best thing I've learned from Judaism and probably the most important thing I will ever learn. I've used this balance in many points in my life, but having it in high school has been the most beneficial experience. High school is hard, there's no question. Kids are mean, classes are hard, and life is filled with a roller coaster of emotions. However, having set teachers that I know I can rely on for help has helped me tremendously. Having someone constantly there to help you is vital in school and is sure to assist you in thriving. Also, having some close friends, even if it's just 2 or 3, has provided a constant for me in this world of craziness, and I could not be more thankful for Judaism helping me see this. Lastly, I know kids are mean. Trust me, I've experienced it all. But being Jewish has helped me to not only be the opposite of these people, but to still judge them fairly, because you never know what they could be going through. I'm so grateful for the person Judaism has shaped me to be, and I'm excited to continue my journey.
Do not judge your fellow until you have stood in his place. People have been judging others for years, whether it's been in competition or just a normal person forming an opinion of others. I believe that you should judge every person favorably. Judging people by things they can't control is not only not fair to the other person, but it makes you seem like an unaccepting person. One of my rules when it comes to judging someone is to judge them by the content of their character and not based on anything they can't control. This has always been one of my rules while looking at potential friends and just while walking around talking to other people. Being judged is just a normal part of life, but you can help how people judge you by always being kind and respectful to others and their things. If you are a good person in general, people will have no choice but to judge you for the better, and even if they judge you wrong, as long as you have the feeling that you did well and made an impact on someone, then it doesn't matter how one person judges you. You and the other person know that your character is in the right place.
So we take a few moments in our service now, as we do every time we come together on Friday evenings, to offer a healing prayer. So if there's someone who you're thinking of who could use healing and who would appreciate knowing that their names were shared here, I would invite you to share them at this time. So we're thinking too of Arlene Alper, we're thinking of Lisi Weinstein, thinking of Alice Handelman, and all of those names that we're saying to ourselves in our hearts. For them and for us, we sing a Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikol Habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikol Habracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We'll now invite all of our confirmands to please rise.
When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace.
Its highest teaching is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person.
That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization.
Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties. But the study of Torah is equal to all of them, because it leads to all of them.
Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do.
When all of our confirmands read together,
we will choose life. We will hold fast to the covenant that brings life. Today, as member of the confirmation class of 5,782, we confirm our faith and dedication to the teachings of Torah.
so one of the unusual things that we get to do on confirmation, and this is one of those rare Friday nights that we actually have the opportunity to read Torah. So for our confirmands who are helping us with the Torah service, I would invite you to come forward, and Owen and Emmy, if you can open the ark for us.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
And we join in the Shema on the top of 17.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim.
a tradition that at this time we are going to bring the Torahs to you, and we are going to walk with the Torahs among the congregation, and we'd invite all of the confirmands to follow in the Torah processional. If you wish to reach out and very gently touch one of our confirmands or the Torah with your siddur, you are welcome to do so.
Lecha Adonai hagedol hagevora ha'tiveret ha'netzach ha'od ki hu b'shamayim u'ba'aretz ki hu b'shamayim u'ba'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlecha ve'haminaseh lechol rov Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Le'hakosho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Le'hakosho Ki Kadosh Adonai Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishachahu Le'hakosho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishachahu Le'hakosho
So because on the holiday of Shavuot, we read from the Ten Commandments, it is traditional to do so when we celebrate confirmation, which is always close to the holiday of Shavuot. So, Jessica, come on.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Sheishet yamim tavod vasita kol malachtecha v'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha lo ta'aseh kol malacha ata uvincha uvitecha abdecha v'matcha uvehemtecha V'gercha asher bisharecha ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz et hayam ve'et kol asher bam v'yanach b'yom hashvi'i al ken berach Adonai et yom hashabbat v'yikadshehu.
And God spoke all these words. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself an image in any form of anything in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, Adonai your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of Adonai your God, for Adonai will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name.
Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to Adonai your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner
residing in your towns. For in 6 days Adonai made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the seventh day. Therefore Adonai blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land of Adonai your God, in the land Adonai your God is giving you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, or his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. When the people saw the thunder and lightning and heard the trumpet and saw the mountain and smoke, they trembled in fear. They stayed at a distance.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
The book of Ruth is set in biblical times during the wheat harvest, the period we now celebrate as Shavuot. Yet Shavuot is more than just an agriculture harvest festival. There is also a tradition that Jewish people accepted the Torah, most specifically the Ten Commandments. On Shavuot, the book of Ruth offers a personal parallel to this story, when a young woman named Ruth chooses to become a Jew, accepting the laws, teachings, and practices of Jewish people. Linking the revelation at Sinai to the most famous Jew by choice is a powerful statement. In seeing Ruth's choice to join the Jewish people out of love, devotion, and commitment, we remind ourselves that each of us is the tradition of Reform Judaism, a Jew by choice. Each day we recommit to the practices of Judaism and choose this path as our own.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nve'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May God grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters. It is more bitter for me than for you, because God's hand has turned against me." At this, they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me."
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sur kol ha'olamim sadik b'kol hadarot ha'el hana'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber u'mkayem shekol devrav emet v'tzedek all ha'torah v'all ha'avodah v'all hanvi'im v'all yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdushat v'limnucha lechavot u'tifaret all ha'kol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umvarchim otach, yiparashimcha, befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat.
Sinai was only the beginning. The Torah has never ceased to grow. In every age it has been purified and enlarged. It expands as the horizon of our vision grows. From a sturdy trunk of ancient wisdom has blossomed the branches of revelation in our own day. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it. For us, its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Please rise as we return the Torah to the ark.
I remember the last time I stood on this bema to give a speech was the day of my bat mitzvah. Now, don't get me wrong, my bat mitzvah was wonderful, and I'm so thankful to have gotten to experience it. But at the time, I remember feeling almost like an imposter. I mean, I knew I was becoming an adult in my Jewish community, but I couldn't help but feel as if I almost wasn't Jewish enough. I mean, sure, I knew the prayers. I knew when to bow, when to stand up, when to sit back down. I knew during which songs my feet started to hurt and which ones our congregation could never seem to sing quite on key. But I still felt like I wasn't really Jewish, like I was almost missing something. In the time since then, I've gotten much more involved in TI, like working at Camp Shuk over the summers and being a madricha on Sundays during Sunday school. In these ventures, I was able to surround myself with a community of people where I felt a sense of belonging and met tons of strong Jewish people who I aspire to be like. Now, I know that was kind of a lot of backstory, but it's necessary to understand why I resonated so deeply with a specific quote from Pick a Right, a Vote. It goes, "What is the right path a person should choose? Whatever is honorable to themselves and honorable in the eyes of others." There's no right path to being a good Jew. No amount of Hebrew I could speak or prayers I could recite would make me feel more Jewish. Instead, I had to find my place in our community where I felt I could really put the Jewish teachings and prayers I had learned over the years in Sunday school into practice. When I finally started doing this, I felt fulfilled and I felt more connected to God than I ever had before. And while I can't say this makes me a perfect Jew, I can say it makes me know I'm Jewish enough, and that's someone no one can take away from me.
It is not up to you to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. In our world, there are a lot of problems. Some are small, like a fight between relatives. Others are much larger, like climate change or domestic abuse. No matter the scale of the problem we're talking about, this quote still makes sense. For any problem, it's difficult to fix the entire thing, especially on your own. For many social justice projects I have worked on, we needed an entire group of people working together, and even then, we didn't solve the problem completely. Instead of giving up and saying that because we didn't fix hunger or homelessness or whatever other issue I was working on, it would never be fixed, we still tried to do what we could by holding fundraisers or raising awareness. When faced with a problem, the most important thing to do is something, because any action you take towards solving a problem is a good one.
Find yourself a teacher, get yourself a friend, and judge all people favorably. I believe that there are two types of people in the world: those who stand in front of us and those who stand beside us. Those who stand in front of us lead us, guiding the way through paths that they've already been through. Those who stand beside us provide security and comfort as we walk through the paths we must. Everyone in the world needs a friend, but I also believe that everyone in the world needs a teacher. Finding these two important people creates the balance of both companionship as well as guidance. The teacher represents growth and knowledge, while the friend represents empathy and comfort. In my own life, I've had many great teachers and many great friends, and it's a combination of these two types of people that have led me to where I am today, standing in front of you being confirmed. I would like to thank my parents and my rabbis for taking on this role as a teacher for me, guiding me on my spiritual experience as a Jew. Thank you to my friends in my confirmation class that have gone with me on this journey and who have helped me learn what it means to be part of a bigger community. We all need friends and teachers in our lives, those who guide me and stand beside me, leading me to who I have become today. It is only through these important people that I've learned the characteristics of empathy, compassion, and love. Thank you all.
In Proverbs, we read, "Educate children in the way to go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it." The Israelite journey through the desert was a time in the wilderness as well as a time of discovery. Just as our B'nai Mitzvah prepare to affirm their dedication to Judaism, our confirmands take Judaism into the next stage of their lives.
We pray that Temple Israel has helped you create a strong foundation for your Jewish identity. We offer thanks for the ways in which you have contributed to our community. We look forward to the years to come as you bring fresh ideas and energy to help build for the future.
So as you take these steps, your parents bless you as well. From the moment of your first steps or words through the celebration of your becoming B'nai Mitzvah until this season of your confirmation, they've watched you emerge as the people you are today. So I'd love to invite the parents of our confirmands for each of these years to please rise. And if you'll join with us together. We express our gratitude to God for the guidance that has enabled us to shape and support you. We ask God to bless you in all of your pursuits. May your Jewish heritage lead you to joy and celebration, security and comfort. May the prayers of Israel grant you strength in times of confusion and struggle. May the Torah of Israel guide you through life's dilemmas and injustices, and may it challenge you to become a better person and make this a better world. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, bless you as you enter into this new chapter in your life. May you open your heart and mind to continuous growth, unexpected change, and the perpetual, unsettling, liberating expansion of being alive. May you have the courage to name and sanctify this moment of change that is shaping your body and soul in the image of the divine. And we'll invite our parents to be seated, and if the confirmands can please rise. And we'll read together. As we achieve the milestone of confirmation, we give thanks to our community for its support and encouragement. We give thanks to our teachers for their guidance and patience. We give thanks to our parents for the love they shower upon us and the independence they grant us. And we give thanks to God for forming us, inspiring us, teaching us, and protecting us. We commit ourselves to preserve and sustain our Jewish heritage. We pledge to support and build Jewish community wherever we go. We treasure our connection to the sacred congregation. We hope to be a blessing to all that we encounter. And as is our tradition, at this time, we take a few moments to be able to offer some special blessings to our confirmation students. So thank you for being patient with us, and we encourage you to do a little bit of reading while we do this. So we're going to invite 2020 if you want to sit, and if you, or 20, whatever year this is, 2022. You guys, come on up. What year were you? You're like so grown up. I don't even.
Let me out of the middle.
Thank you for helping us grow up as well.
So at this time, we're going to ask you to please rise on page 24, and we'll turn to the words of the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shaper v'adon ha'kol, l'tekedu la'yoser breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'atzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchat minu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim
HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And though we are here celebrating Shabbat in this time of joy, we know that there are those in our community and those who are watching from home who are also honoring a loss in their life. And so this time we recall with love the names of those taken from us in recent days, and our hearts go out to their families in sympathy as we recall their names: Catherine Elaine Shelton and Sanford Weiss. We now recall the names of those the anniversary of whose death occurs on this Shabbat and whose names have been inscribed in the archives of our congregation or on the Wall of Honor for perpetual memorial: Jane R. Silverman Ach, Rose Steinman Abrahamson, Jean Appel, Gladys Freund Barker, Bess Barney, Alvin Bauman, Sophie Bendit, Jacob Bernhardt, Jacob Bernstein, Sophie Boudet, Corinne Block, Melba Samuels Cohen, Neil Cohen, Molly Rimmel Cohen, Isidore Sully Davidson, Julian Irving Edison, Albert Edlin, Robert Esrock, Carrie Fuller, Max Garber, Stella Toholsky Glazer, Morris Goldstein, Zeus Sidney Goodman, Samuel Greenberg, Paul Gustorf, Ronnie Handelman, Alberta Shield Kalish, Philip Kalish, Esther Fox Cantor, Betty Kaiser, Robert Kleinman, Esther Kling, Rudy Cohen, Lawrence Allen Lampert, Marlene Lander, Dora Laufer, Nettie Laberman, Blanche Leuchter, Edgar Littman, Ralph Lowenbaum Sr., Sophie Polson, Liesl Rhine, Henrietta Apt Rogers, Merle Silverman Rufa, Bessie Safer, Dr. Harry Sandpearl, Robert Sachs, Hugo Schorsch, Jane Centuria, Roberta Sheldon, Leonora Shevelevich, Judy Smith, Ann Spiegelglass, William Stoller, Jacob Stone, Bessie Tepper, Philip Unterberger, C. Sidney Weaver, David Weil, Joe Weil, Morris Wilson, Rebecca Winner, Sarah Wolf, Elise Wolf, George Wolf Jr. So with these names and the names we keep in our hearts, we turn towards the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 25. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabba, ba'alma dibarach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'emru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach la'alam u'mei almaya, Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitzromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, ta'amiran ba'ama v'emru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemayim, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'emru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'emru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. So before we turn to our conclusion, just a few words. First, thank you all for being here. This is such a special moment in the life of our congregation, and we're so thrilled. And I also have to say, it took me standing up here to recognize how many former students are out there, because you all look like adults, and I'm looking at you and I can't even believe it. So we're so grateful that you came back as well. Following our service are the class of 2022. That's the year we're in, right? The class of 2022 and their families. For those of you who are joining us for dinner, you are going to hang a right this way, but we are going to ask everyone, if you wouldn't mind just staying in your seat so that all of the confirmands can recess ahead of you, and then you're more than welcome to greet them. So, but since we have some treats to have afterwards, we need to do our kiddush and our motzi. Rabbi Michael, take it away.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltzanu, baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat. We have not done that since COVID, so that's pretty amazing to do the long kiddush tonight. That's beautiful. And lastly, we'll do our motzi so that everyone can go and have their treats. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. So we will sing you out the door. We're going to invite the class of 2022 to recess first, and then you all will follow them.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu l'zman hazeh. To life, to life, to life, to life l'chaim. To life, to life, to life, to life, l'chaim. I wanna hold on to this moment now, l'chaim. atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. שהחיינו וקיומנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.